Hey, I wonder if the song Little China Girl is politically correct. I'd have to look at the lyrics. Hey, it's a voting day here. I've seen a lot of signs re-elect this person when it's kind of obvious that things got worse during their term, and yet they don't see it or they don't acknowledge it. Or at the same time, they say, oh, this success happened, this housing got built, while more people became homeless. The numbers, a few extra got housing, right? The numbers don't add up. That's one way to know the success. Less funding to things that would solve problems in the long term, like homelessness, mental health, education, addiction. I'm seeing a lot of places that provide for the needy to be very poorly managed. If you want to go for food, a place where the people that are there have worse people skills than the people that receive the services, that's the ones you want to talk to. You want to go socialize with some of the people that receive the services. And I would volunteer and teach life skills, people skills to the people that provide services, but they don't want to do work. They just want to feel they're a successful human being who are better than the ones receiving. But again, we're social creatures, people. So if the people skills of the people receiving the meal instead of the attitude of the one providing the meal, yeah, I know who the more successful human being is, if you want to go on that scale. It's kind of sad. I'm seeing a lot of people call their age. I'm this old, so don't expect people skills from me. No, I expect you're a social creature. Your social skills, if you're twice as old as me, or decades, yeah, you should be way more advanced. You can't call that card. My grandfather never did this. My grandfather never called the age card, even in his 80s. So you seem to be lazier and lazier. So elections don't matter. I mean, if money goes in things where the conversation isn't related to what's wrong up here with the norm, then yeah, you're going to fail. But why aren't people talking about re-elect somebody, and why do they often win when problems get worse all around? Like, who votes for somebody again that didn't say in their speech, I failed in this way during my term, and here's a promise you can hold me on, and you can give me 3 strikes and I'll resign myself if I don't do it in my second term? Like, that's not the speeches. So who's voting for the people while not being aware that things got worse and that the person really contributed to the declining status quo? I don't know. This is kind of weird. Societies are getting worse because we've been moving away for thousands of years from the concept of collective learning. So if I'm being given directions by an older person that I kind of get along with, but you can tell, they kind of think I should know the same things they know, and that's kind of the only thing they know, and they think, this guy doesn't know much, I know more than them. Now, should I get into, and sometimes I do, if I have a friendly banter and somebody can accept a little bit of contradiction to their points, I can say, do you know that there's more things I know that you don't know that are important, including for social creatures like you, then I don't know that you know, let's say about working in the woods. So that's kind of weird because that person could be decades older than me. Now, in the concept of collective learning, this wouldn't be accurate for most people. Most people that are older would know more than the younger people because they would know about a lot of different things and have the years of experience to relate to those things. But when older people know about only a few things, and communication isn't one, critical thinking isn't one, listening skills, emotional intelligence, maturity, conflict resolution aren't one, then I tell you they're missing a lot of the things they should know as social creatures, and those are things that I could be teaching them about, but they don't want that. they want to just have me learn a little bit more and think that they're still superior to me, although the scale of what I know they don't know far exceeds what they know that I don't know. So collective learning, again, is we would know, each individual, about most things that are important as living skills, but also life skills, and also to contribute in every role of our community, our tribe, except that there would be experts that would naturally form as well. And of course, these experts would know a bit more than the general population, but not vastly more. Now, if you compare me with people that avoid me and they're older than me, and it's because they lack people skills, and they would rather ban me than let me teach these things or counsel them in emotional intelligence for free, then yeah, you know we're not human. We're not human communities that even understand what used to be collective learning, what used to be human societies thousands of years ago. So how can I do my conclusion here? Let me think for a second. Yeah, I guess you keep putting drugs, and you keep kind of saying, oh, we need to change the system of medical care and mental health, and yet you just say this thing, and you don't know what that looks like and what needs to be done, and how many people need to own up to having been part of the problem, including doctors that you're afraid to lose, and you will, because they're intellectually lazy. So there will be things getting worse when it comes to the community receiving medical services. There will be years of poor or absent services while the change happens. And of course, politicians don't want to be the unpopular ones that work on long-term solutions during their short term, where things get worse, where doctors, nurses feel burnout when it turns out they have to start acting very differently, which unconsciously they kind of knew already was wrong the way they were acting. They might not have participated in the right conversations, but a lot of people complain, things are like this, something like this, while they are acting in this way themselves. So doing the work is, again, the only way you can change the world and be proud of yourself is changing yourself, because you are having an impact on the world. So that's kind of simple. Just work on yourself. If you do realize what's wrong with the system that you're living in, that's only the first step of many steps. You have to do the work that makes it that you're not part of the problem. And the earlier people that do this, let's say the early adopters, sorry, I shouldn't use any bell curve comments with the people primates, it doesn't apply anymore. But let's imagine you're the early adopters like I am, let's say. And I'm telling you, you're not going to become more popular. Probably people won't re-elect you, but you will have hopefully had a butterfly effect. If people re-elect you when things get worse, chances are you're being voted for by dumbasses who support dumbassism or redneckism, and that's kind of not something I want to participate in as a system of politics or democracy that has so much ignorance in it, and denial, and hypocrisy, and impunity that, you can't change it from the inside. I mean, it's like if Isaac Asimov wrote another story about going inside in a small ship inside somebody's body to cure cancer when their body's now at 98% cancer cells. Yeah, I don't think that was the right storyline to cure cancer, right? To kind of, go shoot or transform one cell into a healthy one when it's 98% of the time. I'm pretty sure there would have been a smarter solution than, trying to change things from the inside or trying to cure something that is outside of us when it is all in here. Just do your work. If you meet people that have more maturity than you do, or more of any type of intelligence, and that doesn't mean a skill set or a particular knowledge set, it's human thinking tools, it's different types of intelligence, then please spend time with them and admit, I'm spending time with you because you have become more human in this particular facet of how multifaceted ways that people primates can evolve. Do this, people, And talk in this way if you're politicians. Talk about, holy crap, we're screwed up in the head. All of us. Pretty much. All of us. So I'm willing to do my share, and I'm willing to apologize on camera, and I'm willing to learn things on camera instead of pretending I already knew it. I'm willing to admit my triggers. I'm willing to say what I'm struggling with when really, I've met 10-year-olds who don't struggle with these kind of people skills. Then admit to this, and you will see that maybe not a lot of people will admit that, hey, that's kind of how I am. But some people will respect that, whether they vote for you or not. You will be a culture repair. And by the way, culture repairs don't get voted in. Only culture breakers, because 98% of the cells are cancers already.